translation is also another powerful thing. It's like, phew.
Listen.
I don't translate. I don't know how to translate. People ask me, can you translate? I was like, I don't like to do that. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a misconception that if you know different languages that you should be able to translate.
No.
And there's differences between translating and interpreting, and that really is a misconception.
Yeah, my brother is an interpreter. Sometimes when I say, oh, my brother translate, he goes, how many times am I going to tell you?
Yeah.
I don't translate.
There's a difference.
And then I will send him like a few sentences to say, can you please do this quickly for me? He writes, he goes, where did you pick up this text? What's the context? And I was like, oh la la. I said to him, can you just do this quickly? He's like, no.
We went searching for a lead actress for Dirt, and the woman is a Salvadoran woman who works in New York and then goes back to El Salvador. That was the movie. When we were casting, we kind of searched everywhere, and we searched in El Salvador, and we went to theater companies and all this stuff, and I still wasn't finding. And then we ended up casting in Mexico City, and I found my actress, and she was Mexican. So I introduced her to all these women, so all my Salvadoran contacts, all my Salvadoran friends. I said, let's try and get the rhythm and let's try and get the speech and stuff. And I told my friends, she has to learn how to speak from you.
That's kind of been a bit of a theme, that methodology goes way back for you with Tracy Ullman playing an Italian girl in Household Saints, and even Mira Sorvino, even though she was Italian, the Bronx accent.
Both Mira Sorvino and Tracy Ullman recorded me, which is weird because I thought I got rid of that Bronx accent. But they both recorded me. They asked me to read their lines.
And I'd been in school like maybe 2 weeks, so that's my defense for this part of the story. But my mom was like, she knows English. So she was like, what are you learning in school, Talk to me in English. And I remember just being like just speaking gibberish, thinking I could get away with it. I was like, she doesn't speak English. She doesn't know. Like, she's like, I speak English. You're not saying anything. And I was just like, but yeah, that's what I remember English sounding like to me, was like, oh
my God.
This show is We Are What We Speak.
Fermi 1, 3 Mile Island Unit 2, Chernobyl, Fukushima Daiichi. Around the world, they were billed as the safest, cleanest, most dependable power source on Earth. Energy that would be too cheap to meter. As they generated cheap, abundant power, some of these nuclear reactors could supposedly create their own plutonium fuel. Across America and around the world, hundreds of nuclear reactors were built on seacoasts, rivers, and lakeshores, guaranteed to provide plentiful, cooling water. What was not to like? One by one, a series of disasters triggered a reversal of fortune for the atomic power industry that had flourished as a byproduct of the nuclear weapons business. Today, the nuclear power industry is plagued by billions in cost overruns, entombed, decommissioned, and dismantled reactors, with entire nations shutting down these plants that have, in some cases, been mired in billion-dollar lawsuits. While you may have heard of the 1986 Chernobyl disaster or remember the 2011 Fukushima nuclear catastrophe, it's important to know that these are not the only notable incidents that have occurred across the timeline of nuclear power. This is a podcast about the unsettling political and economic history of the nuclear power industry. At the story's center is the impending decision to restart the Palisades Power Plant in South Haven, Michigan, right on beautiful Lake Michigan. For more than 30 years, Kevin Camps, radioactive waste specialist at Beyond Nuclear, has helped lead a nationwide effort to shut down nuclear reactors and replace them with renewable energy, such as solar and wind power. He also promotes energy conservation, efficiency, and storage. In today's episode, hosted by author Roger Rappaport, Camps talks about the unprecedented plan to restart decommissioned nuclear reactors under the leadership of Holtec International. This heavily government-subsidized company has never previously operated a nuclear reactor nor shipped highly radioactive spent nuclear fuel on the Great Lakes. The at least $2.5 billion to restart the Palisades nuclear reactor in South Haven, Michigan, currently enjoys bipartisan support from Governor Gretchen Whitmer and West Michigan congressional representatives Hillary Scholten, a Democrat, and Bill Huizenga, a Republican.